Alex Jones is back on Twitter, and the journalists are freaking out, which is not surprising. Here he is, back on Twitter, or maybe you call it X. I still call it Twitter. It'll probably always be Twitter for me. I'm not sure when I'm going to make the crossover. Anyway, if you're not familiar with what happened, Musk decided after a poll asking people on Twitter if they'd like to see Alex Jones reinstated. I think it was like 70% said yes. So he said the people have spoken, and he let Alex Jones back on. And that has really ruffled the feathers of the Twitterati, which, like I said, should not shock any of us. But as a former TV reporter, I want to just jump on really quickly to just show how, whether you like or dislike Alex Jones, honestly, some people think Alex Jones is like a deep stater himself, which I think is funny because all the news people call him a conspiracy theorist. So there's a wide range of reasons that some people don't like Alex Jones. But what's funny is that the journalists only say conspiracy theorists. They just pick up on this one thing, and they all say it. They all say that he's a conspiracy theorist. And what I think is really funny is I was reading the comments under my old TV newsroom's Twitter post about this, and what I thought was hilarious was like all the comments are basically anti mainstream media and pro Alex Jones, at least all in like the very beginning, the top comments. And it makes me wonder if the folks who I know are monitoring this stuff, the digital team for King 5 or whoever else, if they're monitoring this stuff and either are thinking, well, maybe we're getting it wrong. Maybe we're missing something. Maybe we need to rethink this. Or they're just like, the world has gone totally insane. And what is wrong with these people in the comment section? And they think, like one of my friends does, that when they force the truth on the people just don't want to hear it, but they're just doing their job. They're just taking one for the team, giving you the truth, even if you don't want to hear it. I think that's how a lot of journalists think. But I wanted to show you how similar this article is to what PBS posted, because when it comes to topics like Alex Jones or larger sort of issue type headlines, they often just get recycled because there's safety in numbers. So it's much safer for a corporate press outlet to just call Alex Jones a conspiracy theorist, or say he got banned for hate speech or abusive behavior. They all use the same words without having to explain what they mean, because they know nobody's going to be fact checking them, or nobody they care about is going to be fact checking them. Of course, people like me, the alternative media world's going to do videos where they fact check them, but they're people who they care about are not going to fact check them because they all think the same way. So one of the common tools used, maybe it's always been this way, but definitely recently, when we're talking about cancel culture that is invigorated by the corporate press, the mainstream media, whatever you call them, one of the tactics used is just these overgeneralized criticisms, hate speech, abusive behavior, conspiracy theorists, misinformation. And rarely do they say exactly what's going on. And then if they do say what's going on, they don't give a fair debate about it. Whereas if they were trying to defend somebody of their ilk against one of those terms, they would definitely qualify all of those adjectives. They say this about them, but experts have said blah, 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 blah. And so they do that all the time. I saw my chief photographer at my old station retweeted this and said, let this sink in for a minute. Okay, that's a journalist saying, let this sink in for a minute. Like, we should all basically just take a minute and meditate on this because the world is basically over. And I would say that that general sentiment is probably shared by a lot of the big box brand journalists right now, that like X is just going down the toilet, where they all had their big brands and their followings and everything, and it's just a big mess now. It's just a big mess because now everyone's going to get all kinds of bad information on Twitter and not listen to them anymore. And it's just making people nuts. And I would say if I took like a silent poll, maybe not even a silent poll, probably a lot of journalists would be proud to think that way. That's how they think. Okay. So this is the article. Elon Musk reinstates Alex Jones' account on X. That's pretty mundane. There's not a lot of bias, and that's true. And what they do talk about abusive behavior in the subheadline, that's why he was kicked off in 2018. But take a look here. This is why this stuff gets recycled a lot, okay? Because this is the Associated Press, and one person wrote it with editors, but then it just gets passed around and copied and pasted on people's websites, and then everybody's saying the same thing. And then this is how it works, because nobody in this world, in my opinion, okay, not nobody, that's an overgeneralization on my part. A lot of the people who are talking about Alex Jones in the corporate press do not know anything about Alex Jones, or very little. They only know what they read in the corporate press about him. Very few of them have watched InfoWars, or watched InfoWars for an extended period of time, long enough to know what they're talking about, to understand the nuances. And, it's funny because they call him a conspiracy theorist. A lot of the mainstream press, that is just the first thing they go to with him. But what's funny is, like, what I hear with other criticism of Alex Jones in the world of alternative media is actually that he's too aligned with the quote deep state. And that, there are certain areas that he won't touch. And so they never seem to, like, include that like there's all kinds of nuances about who likes and who dislikes Alex Jones. And there's a fair conversation to have about Alex Jones and InfoWars and the reporting that he's been doing. I absolutely think there's a fair debate to be had, an intelligent debate to be had about it, about Alex Jones, but you're not going to get it here, So it's like, I'm not even trying to necessarily defend the guy, but of course I do believe he should be allowed back on Twitter. I'm glad that this decision was made. I'm letting it sink in, just to say that to everybody who's out there that thinks I should just let it sink in. I've let it sink in. I think it's great that he's back on Twitter. Why? Because I think people should be allowed to talk. I mean, I think that this whole idea of, I don't have to preach to the choir here. You guys know, I mean, I lost my job over this issue. So my day job, I was fired by the government, for interviewing people like Alex Jones. And I'll stick by that because I believe people should have the opportunity to hear different voices and make a decision for themselves. And I think only the powerful benefit when major corporations align with the government, doing the government's dirty work. When they are making decisions about who can talk and who can't talk, only bad things happen. Truly. Okay, all right, maybe say a few good things come out of it, right? Once again, try not to overgeneralize like my peers. But I believe really the powerful benefit, not the little guy. And that's why I stand by that. So check this out. This is an Associated Press article that's just repasted by King 5, which is my old NBC affiliate that I work for, the last station I work for. And they say, okay, Elon Musk has restored the X account of conspiracy theorist Alex Jones and pointing to a poll on social media. It poses new uncertainty for advertisers who have fled X, okay, over concerns about hate speech. Then it goes back to the poll and talks about Musk being a free speech absolutist, said the move was about protecting those rights. And it goes on to, talk about Sandy Hook, originally how Musk wasn't going to allow Alex Jones back on because of the Sandy Hook stuff. And yeah, so this ends with Trump, which that just sandwiches it, which like is all bad by just ending it with Trump, who was banned for encouraging January 6th. That's what they say he was doing. Has his own social media site, Truth Social, and only tweeted once since being allowed back on X. So anyway, all right. So remember this. So talking about Elon Musk restoring the X account of conspiracy theorist Alex Jones, then new uncertainty for advertisers, and then the poll. All right. So let's go to the PBS article right here. Now look, Associated Press, right there. Elon Musk restores conspiracy theorist Alex Jones' X account, reversing Twitter's ban. Now, they went a little farther than King 5 by calling him a conspiracy theorist in the headline, but then it's just the same article. So PBS and the NBC affiliate King 5, they're saying the same thing. And this is how it gets recycled. This is how everything gets recycled in the news business. One person or a couple people at the Associated Press write an article, everybody repaste it. They don't do any original reporting there. And they don't care if the person, I mean, honestly, I'm going to like go out on a limb and say this. Like, I don't think that they're concerned enough that person may have gotten something wrong because, like I said, the people they care about are not fact checking them about Alex Jones. They're not worried. They're not worried. I will tell you this. The people they are worried about getting wrong, you can tell because they will do their due diligence trying to defend themselves in the article. But Alex Jones is low-hanging fruit for them. So they just recycle, the negative overgeneralizations, okay? Not overgeneralizing here when it comes to some amazing wine. AllisonWinePromo.com. Get some for your party, your holiday party, Christmas, Hanukkah, Ramadan. Probably don't drink if you celebrate Ramadan. I don't know. But these are great wines regardless. No party, drinking by yourself, watching Allison videos. Support my work, 50% off and 50% off shipping. And these are amazing Malbecs from Argentina, from very remote regions, very high altitude. They're extremist altitude. We're talking about Alex Jones today. Extremist altitude wines. And that's the truth. Okay. It's not an overgeneralization. And they just taste very good. There are fewer pesticides because they're grown so high up. Less air pollution. The grapes are working harder because it gets very hot during the day and very cold at night. And they're just dang good wines. Small family farms, hand-picked grapes. They're like the anti-factory farm wines. Okay, so go check them out. If you are looking for vitamin D, good omega fats, you can go to greenpasture.org and take the cod liver oil fermented, which is a fermented cod liver oil and a butter oil blend that I've been taking for about 12 years, 10 to 12 years. I took it after getting cavities every 6 months and went back to the dentist a few years later, no cavities. And I really think this made a huge difference for me. It's a great product and it's a great company. They're extremely free speech oriented and all about health, and do their research about these products. So there's a bunch of different ones. They've got like this advertisement is for their coconut oil and ghee. But look, they've got fermented cod liver oil, skate oil, butter oil. And this is what I take, the cod liver oil, butter oil blend. So use Allison10 for your promo code, Allison10 for your promo code, or the affiliate link in the description or the pinned comment. And that's another great way to support my work. Finally, go to twinenginecoffee.com/Allison. And there's other ways, links in the description and pinned comment for other products. But I'm just going to talk about these three. twinenginecoffee.com/Allison. Have it every morning. It's USDA certified organic, high altitude, extremist altitude roasts. They're great. Dark roast, light roast, medium roast, ground, whole bean, whatever you want. They've got it for you. And also a great family-owned company that supports my work, never told me what to say or what to do. And they've been with me for several years and really appreciate twinenginecoffee.com. So twinenginecoffee.com/Allison. And they also have sampler packs you can do as like stocking stuffer. It's a great present, Christmas present for the loved one who maybe drinks a little bit too much caffeine, but you're like, I'm not going to tell them. I'm going to let them continue with their addiction through the holidays. Get them some twinenginecoffee.com/Allison. Okay. So thanks to my sponsors. Going back to this topic to wrap it up. Oh, and one last thing I should say, if you're not somebody who uses the internet for payment, but you want to support my work, go to the mailbox and mail me something. Lottery ticket, loose change, whatever you want. Just like I say, not like a creepy letter that's going to make me call the cops on you. Or send my husband after you, for that matter, who does surveillance work. P.O. Box 3355, Denellen, Florida 34432. I love to hear from people. I've gotten some letters from people that don't even send money, and I love to hear from people. So send me a letter. I love getting letters. I let the producers open them. I read them to them, try to keep them kid-friendly, and they're just great. It's great to hear from people. It's a fun way to hear from you that's not an email, though I do take emails too, so you can check out my email as well. But P.O. Box 3355, Denellen, Florida 34432. Big picture, like I said, do I think Alex Jones is perfect? No. And like I said earlier, I think there's a wide range of valid reasons to have a healthy debate about what you think about Alex Jones. But you know what? I think the same thing about myself. That we could have a valid, open debate about Allison Morrow. Why? Because Allison Morrow, to talk about myself in the third person, knows that she's not perfect. I know that I have blind spots. I know I have biases. I know sometimes, I get on the computer and I've got diapers to change and kids screaming in the background, and I didn't do as much research as I wish I had done, or I'm not able to pay as close of attention, or I hadn't been on the internet for a few days and I missed something. And I'm not perfect. I don't know everything. And so that's why I like people to have the option to speak without censorship, and why I would never go after somebody to be censored, because I don't know everything. And it would be so hubristic of me to think that I have some special set of knowledge that says that you shouldn't have the right to talk. It's shocking to me that journalists that are in a field where it's all about asking questions and learning somehow think they know everything and come after people to be silenced online. That's like, that to me is that's dissociated thinking. That's like a dissociative disorder. If you don't know everything, because you're in a profession that should be about learning, not just preaching to people, You're about learning and discovering new things and hearing from the heretics, because often the new things come from the heretics, the heterodox thinkers of society. If that's your job, if your profession is made up of that, then why are we calling for censorship? Why do we think people should be banned from talking? Why? Even if they're saying what you think is the most despicable thing on the face of the earth. Do you know everything? If you don't know everything, sit this one out. Sit this one out. Alex Jones, Trump, Joe Biden, whatever. It's just, I don't know how these two things exist in the same mind space. If you don't know everything, which I would assume journalists would say they don't, because that's the whole point of the job, going out and learning, then why would you all dogpile on somebody to have them removed? Do you know enough really about it? Do you know enough really about this topic to silence somebody forever or for any amount of time? Because what are they doing to you? What's everybody so scared of? Anyway, I say again, besides the fact that these two things cannot coexist, not knowing everything and then thinking you know everything enough to get someone banned. The other thing is, the only ones who are going to ever have the ability to ban someone are in very powerful positions. And it will never benefit the people who are driving society towards change. And especially change from usually the bad stuff. because those people are going to be the ones who are banned, because the people who are in power, who like the status quo, are going to be the ones doing the banning. This doesn't work out well. It's not worked out in history well. I don't know why we think it's going to work out now. So I just don't understand. I don't understand what happened to my old profession of journalism, that we think this is a good thing to have, especially the government and major corporations telling us who can talk. Okay, maybe some bad stuff, like in the sense of factually inaccurate stuff, would get taken offline. And a lot of that actually would probably be coming from the powers that be, not from the people that they're that much concerned about, honestly. If we were really to start going after misinformation, right? We'd go after the CDC. The CDC would have its account banned. But I just don't know. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. If it's going to benefit the powerful and the status quo, and journalists, I would think the fun of the job would be the opposite. And they would say that, trying to figure out who the underdog is in a particular situation and learn from them. Why do we want a few powerful people or businesses or the government deciding who can and cannot talk? And I'll tell you this, the reason that they're not concerned about it is because they're not concerned about themselves. Because if newsrooms were more concerned that they are saying something critical of the power structure enough so that they would get banned, they would not be for banning people. But the reason that they're for banning people and they go after folks like Alex Jones is because they are not scared that their accounts are going to be hit, because they're aligned with the power structure now. I mean, that's what all of this should show us. The sub headline of all of this that is easy to miss if you're not paying attention is that the journalists who are working for outlets that are pro-censorship because they are not afraid they are going to be censored. And the reason they're not afraid they're going to be censored is because they're not saying anything that goes against the rules. Anyway, as promised, back to King Five's tweet. Elon Musk restores X account of conspiracy theorist Alex Jones. Here are some of the comments. Ann Irish says, King 5 News using the term conspiracy theorist is an ad hominem propaganda tactic. It's designed to create an emotional response in a way that is directed against a person rather than the position they are maintaining. Maybe King 5 should call out the conspiracy theories they believe he's guilty of so people can decide for themselves. Let's talk about this. Let's go. I'm not going to read it all because there's a bunch of others and that one's kind of long. Bill, conspiracy theorist, a catchphrase coined by the CIA to discredit critics of the U.S. government. They employed media to deploy it. Very telling, you go there. Alex Bailey, he sure is right a lot for a conspiracy theorist. Sean McNeil, I mean, it turns out the chemicals in the water were turning the frogs gay. So maybe this person watches my show because I've said that male salmon in the Puget Sound were creating egg yolk protein because of the chemicals in the water. So maybe that's an Allison Morrow viewer. Scott Stevenson, another ad hominem by mainstream media, not surprising at all. Leighton Gay, he's correct more than King 5 and Como combined. And then this one's SOM1 Anonymous. Good. Freedom of speech for all. The Old Taylor, conspiracy theorist, GFY, regime propagandist. King 5 Seattle. And then finally, I'll just, because I mean, they're all look at them, they're all positive. Mike, good. It's only a conspiracy theory if they don't agree with you. Instead of bashing real Alex Jones, maybe somebody should write an article of how many of his conspiracies have come true. So it's just, look at this. These tweets are still up, propagandists. COVID-19 vaccines will slow the spread of the virus and do not cause or create the variants they did. So anyway, I'll just leave it there. All right. So like I said earlier, I wonder, what do these comments do? What do these comments do? Do they create an opportunity for learning, or did the journalists just double down and say, wow, people are crazier than we thought? I'm going to guess it's choice B, but what do I know? All right. Don't forget, go to my locals, AllisonMorrow.locals.com, where you get exclusive content. I just deleted the promo code. I got to redo it now. Go to AllisonMorrow.locals.com, AllisonMorrow.locals.com. Here, now I can put it up on the screen. That was kind of funny that I just put it right up and then deleted it. AllisonMorrow.locals.com. Be on my editorial board. Help me pick story ideas. Put your interviews ahead of time, or your questions ahead of time for interviews, and get an exclusive media show every week and editorial board meetings once I start them up again when my kids are a little older. Maybe tomorrow, maybe when they're in college. Not sure. Okay. Have a great day, everybody. See you next time.